We're going to get started with Dillon Doyle. Questions for Dillon?
Dillon, to pull out a game like that against a ranked team, what does that mean to this team?
Yeah, going into this week, we didn't focus on the ranking too much. We kind of just focused on what we saw on tape, and we saw a good football team. They were probably deservedly ranked 14th. They've played some good football this year, and they played good football last year. And it was definitely good to pull out a win, as ugly as it was defensively for us. We just kept, our thing is pound the rock, and I was really proud of how we came together and did that today and played complementary football. Offense, defense, special teams even, getting a touchdown in there. Really proud of those guys. Just proud of our efforts and proud of our cohesiveness as a team today.
What did you see on the conversion attempt there at the end? It looked like their quarterback was kneeling or something. Everybody's trying to figure out what was going on. What did you see?
I think initially I saw the ball move, and so I thought it was going to be a false start, and so everybody was like, what's going on? But obviously you have to look at it on tape. Not really sure what they had drawn up, but learn from it and move forward with it. So.
What did you learn about your team today, good, bad, or otherwise?
We got a tough group of guys, and I think we knew that, but it's definitely awesome to go test yourself and put that on display and see that for real under the lights and go put that on display on the national stage, and just so proud of our guys. So.
What was the message on the sideline when you left the game?
It happened kind of fast just because it's the heat of the battle, so it's just man up, and Matt has done an unbelievable job in practice. He really took strides this spring and this fall camp to grow his football knowledge, and I think you saw that today. He knew where to be. He practices at Mike, and he went out there and played well. And that's an unbelievable job. Like, that's a testament to that kid's character, his focus on ball. Just so proud of Matt. He's one of my best friends. I love that kid. I remember this fall we talked about why we play football, and he's from Odessa Permian, so he's like, it's all I know. I just love football. I love the game, and I think you saw that today. He just loves going out there and making tackles, and I love that kid. So it was cool.
Dillon, it seemed like you guys changed a lot of looks on Purdy today so that he was never really comfortable. He could lock in on his progressions or get comfortable. What was was that kind of the plan coming in, or just kind of evolved that way today?
Yeah, I think anybody in the football world knows we like to bring pressure. That's kind of our identity. So, just switching up the looks for them was good. We try to bring different guys just so that they don't know who's coming. That's kind of like a football principle. I don't know. I don't think anything was necessarily so different, but things are really simplified in our minds. Coach Roberts does a really good job at that. Maybe it'll look really different to the other team, but to us, it's essentially the same concept that we ran 2 weeks ago, but it's the same call, but it just looks a little bit different. I don't know. It's hard to explain without getting up on a board and going through the X's and O's. So, yeah.
Garmin Randolph, about him and just how big he came up there.
Yeah. You talk about pound the rock, like our team mentality, and that kid is pound the rock to me. Like, it's been a while since he's been back on the field. I think maybe last week was our first week back with him. He's been battling through some injuries, and really proud of the focus that he's brought to practice, and I think you saw that. Really proud of, or just really happy that he was rewarded for that with that interception. And Iowa State does a really good job with their tight ends. They get into 12 personnel, get into 13 personnel, and we counted on Garmin to come in there and make plays, and he got the job done. So proud of Garmin.
How much was it the fact you played a team from your home state? Does that make it any more special, and can you kind of go through the emotions of that?
Yeah, certainly it's emotional. I went to games at Jack Trice growing up, so very cool to play that team. And I've seen the rise of Matt Campbell and his Cyclones. So when I watch Iowa State on tape, I see a tough team that really loves to play hard, and a group of guys that love each other. And so to get the win over those guys means the world to me. I keep going back to the same things. I'm proud of our guys. It took a while, but I think we pounded this rock and we broke this rock, so we're moving on to the next. So.
Dillon, from your perspective, what was the difference in the game that gave your team the win?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that could have given them the win that we did. It was certainly a dirty game for us as far as penalties go, rushing defense go, and those are things that we have to fix moving forward. So, defensively, we're not necessarily happy with our performance. I don't have the stats here. They had a bunch of yards, so got to be better next week. So.
Brees is one of those guys that can enter into a pile and escape. It's one thing to watch it on film, it's another thing to kind of experience it in person. Can you just talk about going up against a three back like him, and how y'all think y'all did executing your plan today?
Yeah, I mean, I think Brees gets a lot of media attention for the player that he is. He is a great player, but I've been more impressed with the person that he is. You tackle him, you make a play, and he gets up and he's like, "Hey, nice play, 5." And I'm like, how does he do that? I'm working so hard to tackle this guy, and he's like such a nice dude. But I'm excited for his future. I don't know what that looks like for him, but he's going to play at the next level. And you kind of look back on teams that you've played, and you're like, oh, I played this guy. Like, he is now in the league. I've played this guy, and I think we're going to look back at Brees Hall and say that. And it's cool to have that like on your resume. Like, hey, I tackled Brees Hall. Just like. I really like that kid. I think he'd be a great teammate to have, and just really happy for his successes. But obviously they'll move forward and learn from this loss. So.
Dillon, was it Fitz who was stopping him? Because I think he lined up back over.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's Fitz. If a team's running the ball, there should be every gap accounted for. So. We just got to get back on the film and watch it. It certainly gets harder when they bring in extra tight ends because there are extra gaps. And so we gotta fit with DBs, and it gets a little bit harder for us backers too, just with if it's a multiple choice test, it becomes A, B, or C, or it's from A, B, or C to A, B, C, D, or E. And so it's like the probability of guessing right, speaking that way, just goes down. So, it's something that we have to keep working on, obviously, because we're going to face it in the future. But what is the outcome without the process? So we're just focused on pounding the rock and having a good week this week.
Anything else for Dillon? All right, thanks, Dillon.
Thanks.
All right, next up, Trestan Ebner. Questions for Trestan?
Trestan, you've been looking to break some kicks all season. How did it feel to do it at that crucial point in the game with those 2 returns?
It felt great. Coming in, we knew special teams was something we could beat them on. They got a lot of big guys on kickoff returns, so we knew if we jumped them, we had way more speed than them. So I just feel like we executed well. And on the punt return, it was short, and I feel like the guys just stuck to their blocks great and gave me a seam. So I'm just glad we could execute those plays and change the game in that critical moment.
Trestan, did you see that open up on the kickoff return? I mean, it looked like it was that wide open, and all of a sudden you're just down the side.
Well, I think the guys did an incredible job of straining. And so once I cut it back up, I saw a double team that just pushed the dude out of my face, and I made a cut, and then I think everybody just stuck on their block, and we were just able to win with speed. So it wasn't super open, but with them straining, I was able to hit it and score.
Do you take it,
One sec here.
Oh, thank you.
do you take it personally when someone kicks to you, whether it's a kick or a punt?
Most definitely, and I just think with the blockers I have and the stats I've put up, I do take it personally, but I wouldn't be able to do it without the guys that block for me every kickoff return or punt return.
Trestan, you beat a top 15 team against Iowa State today. I mean, the postgame locker room, what was that celebration like?
It was exciting. I think guys are just proud. We're not shocked. We expected to come in this game and win. I feel like it was a big-time game because we were in it. We respect them. They're disciplined. They're tough. We knew it was going to be a hard game, but we're not shocked. We know we've been ready for this moment. We've been preparing for this moment. I'm just proud that we came out and executed.
Trestan, what did you learn about your team today?
Nothing new. We got heart. We had some guys that went down. People had to step up. It was ugly most of the game. And I just think guys just did a great job of pushing through. And we're just able to fight them off at the last minute and win. And you got to respect those guys. They play hard, but I don't think anybody let their foot off the gas, and we were able to come out and get the victory.
What was the response, Trestan, that you guys had after they took the opening kickoff down and scored? What did that mean, though, for your
You know, we just pound the rock every play. So as long as like no matter what happens, we're just gonna keep pounding.
You talked a little bit about the kick return. What did you see on the punt return?
The first thing I noticed was the flight of the ball. I really didn't check to see if anybody was close to me. I saw him kick a line drive, so I figured I had space. I really don't know. But once I caught it, I was just able to hit a seam and dip in and dip back out and get around the edge. I think the guys did a great job of clearing it up for me.
Trestan, you're going to get attention for the kick return and punt return, but what about the onside kick? Is that the best zero yards return you've ever had?
I think that's my proudest play as a Baylor Bear. I just figured the first look we got, you know, they wanted me to stay in front of the kicker, so he wouldn't kick it in the middle, and I shoot out. And I just thought to myself, I'm like, they just saw that look, so I know they're coming to the middle, so I'm just sitting here, and luckily enough, I was able to recover it.
You didn't think about returning?
I wanted to. I didn't have any blockers. I'm nothing without my blockers.
What is it like to have that thing bouncing your way? They're coming, you know the situation. Is it like a flash, you numb, or what's it like?
That was just one of those plays you got to make. You know, whether you get hit or not, no matter what happens, you know, you got to try to put the team on your back and don't do anything special. Just make that play.
Trestan, there were probably 3 runs today where I leaned over to the person next to me and I said, Trestan, of the past 3 years, would have tried to string that ball outside, but he put his foot in the ground and got upfield. How did you make that mentality change in your game this year?
I really got to give credit to Coach Juice, you know, for just staying on me day after day. Every time I line up at practice in the spring or the fall, just saying, get down here, vertical cut. And even Abram, you know, the mentality he runs with is contagious. You know, you love to see it. And that's my brother, and I feel like we both do a good job of taking something away from each other's game, and I'm able to take that away from him. So we just feed off each other. So Coach Juice and Abram just were able to help me with my mentality running downhill.
Abram, did they do anything to take away what y'all did in that first half? Because y'all went 3 for 3 on those first 3 series and then didn't have a lot of offense in the second half.
I had to look at more film, but I feel like they did a good job of making the plays. You know, I think a lot of times we could have made some plays, we beat ourselves, but I had to look at more film to see what exactly happened. But I think they did do a good job of taking away run lanes and just playing the pass.
Anything else for Trestan?
Thank you, guys.
It's good to be with you guys. You know, just that whole second half just felt like it was a couple games, you know, and so it's good to kind of get out and stretch a little bit after that. You know, I look at the stats and I see the total yards and then I see the penalties, and we're probably going to talk a little bit more about that, but you know, to be on the wrong side of both of those things and then still come out with the win, to me, just speaks to how tight this team is, how much they fight for each other, how much they believe in one another, you know, just the culture of the team. I think you know, this was, I think, Tuesday, this week, just meeting with the leadership group, and they had mentioned this was a culture game and how important it was for us to play as a team. And so I think in a way that it's not specifically illustrated in a stat report, I think it was a team win, you know, just with guys gritting stuff out and guys not allowing, you know, stuff to happen, fighting things. And so way cool to be on that side of it. It's stuff that I always kind of felt, but then when you kind of are out there and you're seeing it kind of come to life, and you know, you can become what you've really fought to become is way cool. So with that, take any questions you guys got.
Dave, having a weapon like Trestan returning kicks, that's pretty valuable.
Yeah, we talked about special teams being a big factor in this game, and so we'll go through about 7 things every game, in particular about, hey, these are keys to the game, 7 things and that, and win the kicking game was a major one. And I think some of it stemmed from last year's game and lessons learned and feelings and all that after that, and the other part was just, you know, just the not knowing it was going to be something like what we just went through, but knowing it was going to be a tight game, and knowing that teams are built in a similar fashion with a similar culture and all of it, that I just liked our athletes in space versus their athletes in space, and special teams presented an opportunity for us to highlight that. And so the return game, we wanted to show our ability to be electric, and I'm glad that Eb was able to follow through with that for us.
Dave, how much of a believer do you put into hidden yardage? What Isaac Power did, Rauschenberg, what he did, and then Trestan's return yard, just like a 300-yard difference.
Yeah, we talk about that. That's when the kicking game is when the hidden yardage matchup, and so that's a main emphasis for us. And so it's just, Isaac doing what he's doing, and then, Thor's being clean with all the stuff that he's doing, and then, getting kicks now, and doesn't matter where we're kicking from, we feel like we can get 3 points when we need them. And so I think just the confidence in that specialist group has really risen to a really cool level. And they're great guys anyways, but I think just when they're fully confident about what they're doing, it adds a little bit of pep to them. But then, I think just from as far as like a team aspect of it, just the special teams and the buy-in, and hey, this is not something that I have to or I have to do. This is something I want to do. This is something I want to give to the team, right? As opposed to, hey, these responsibilities from an offense, defensive player standpoint are taking away from my time, right? I'm looking at it as now I'm giving to the team by being on these things. I think this kind of slams the door shut on that, so it's good for us.
Dave, do you have any update on Bernard?
We're going to find out more on Monday. I think we're fearful of maybe a tear, meniscus. We're going to have to see.
Dave, you mentioned the second half kind of felt like 2 games in one. What's just your biggest takeaway from this game in terms of what you learned about your team?
Grit, perseverance. I think there's countless times where just inside, I'm just going crazy, man, and it's just the penalties and just all of it. I mean, we make quite a bit of stir about it, and we have refs at our practices. We show highlights or lowlights of, Saturday games and Sunday games of here's how this penalty affected the outcome of this game and just all of it. And then, just being cut from a cloth to where, like, little things are important things. And there's no such thing as an unimportant little thing. And take care of your business and all of it, to where, getting a team that maybe wants to kind of color in broad strokes and maybe outside the lines. And so it's just, that's not how we're going to go about it, right? And so to get it to where it's tight and there's still personality on their end, but there's an identification of team first and accountability on our end. That has been from the beginning kind of the path, And so we have to improve on that part of it. I think this game I think helps push that. But I look at just Gary Bohannon's a great example. And Gary's just confidence, and Gary's the way he carries himself, and the way he's encouraging other people, and the way that he's always looking to help other people, even in all of it, right? When the offense was off the field and it was special teams and defense at the very end, he's right in there helping guys, right, and giving encouragement to guys. And so I think, to see your team in that light and to see those connections kind of come through, right, is way neat.
Dave, on Monday, you talked about trying to narrow it down from Matt Jones to 2 positions.
Yeah. So there was some times that we were going in there, or he was in there, and this was right after the injury to Terrell. Terrell kept trying to come back in, and then kept re-injuring it, and we'd go and get him checked out, and I think that happened. I think that happened one time, in and out, and then the second time we shut him down. And so within that, Matt's trying to figure out, am I playing outside, am I playing inside? And then after that, it was like, hey, these calls, remember it's this, remember it's that, and he wasn't really getting a bunch of reps at those things. And so that's what's great about college football, is there's just part of that, and his the calm that it takes to get that instruction on the sideline, and really the understanding of all of it. And then I think for him too is to be able to have some really good recall and get on the board and draw through, hey, this is what we're seeing, I think was a big factor in the game, because there was into the game some stops that he was a part of things that we were covering earlier in the game.
Dave, for the team to beat a top 15 team, first time to be a top 25 team since 2015, this program, I mean, Terrell said that the squad wasn't shocked.
Mhm.
What did you see out of the reaction in the postgame in the locker room?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the guys, they're a confident bunch. You know, I think there's a good, healthy amount of ego there, and I think there's a good amount of love for their brother, you know? And so I think, you know, the thought with the team would be, you know, whatever's in front of us, we're going to try to knock it down, and let's go, you know? And so you appreciate that. I think for us to be able to take that next step from this is to be able to do little things with really strong discipline, right? And I think that is going to be the threshold of whether we, or when we take the next step, it's going to be winning that penalty and that turnover battle. So.
For you personally as a head coach too,
Mhm.
what significance does this win have?
Yeah, I don't know if it has one. I know I'm happy for our coaches. I'm happy for Jeff and for Ron. I'm happy for Eric, Mateos. I'm happy for all of our guys, man. You could see the joy on their faces. You know, there was a play on the sidelines, and it was, you know, I think we were kind of getting down to it, and Ron defense, and Ron called a strong safety star blitz from the field. We're going to roll the cover two. And so Garmin has to buzz the flat, and he becomes, it's like an inverted coverage. So Randolph becomes kind of the flat defender over here. And I don't really know, to be honest, how many reps since Garmin's been back he's had of that particular call, but it got to the point, I think, where Ron's feeling like we need to make something happen. I mean, we were all there. You could feel kind of the momentum going. And so I'm standing over here, and I'm seeing Ron make the call. And then, you know, Garmin's coach is Joey McGuire, and I look over to Joey, and Joey's freaking out. Over here, he's freaking out. And I'm just like, you know, I close my eyes, I open them back up, and it was a pick, you know. And so I think, you know, when you got a really strong team and guys are pulling and fighting for each other, things like that happen.
What did Iowa State do in the second half to kind of bog down the offense? You guys were really efficient in
Yeah.
the first half.
Yeah, pressure. Yeah, they were able to get some run-throughs on the backside of our wide zones. And so some of those combos, right, in the first half, a lot of cutbacks in the wide zones, right? Not a lot of them that hit the perimeter, but a fair amount of them that got stretch and then wind back. I think it might have been one of the first run of the game was that, right? And so we had two guys off the ball and seal, release, and then wind it back. They started giving pressure on the backside, and that was clogging up that wind back area. So guys started bouncing it outside, and it just wasn't the openings that we wanted. And so we had to work our combos more efficiently back there. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What are your thoughts on your offensive line progress? Because that was the best defense they've gone up against.
Yeah, I thought it was a fight, man. I thought, you know, the belief, their, you know, the sidelines. So like on all of it, I don't really feel the win right yet. I imagine I will, but it's just what I feel is like everything that went into it is just how positive guys were, or even when something bad would happen, guys are going good, you know, pound the rock, and they're using the language that we talk about, and they're all focused about uplifting people, and so when it's like that, you feel like you've already won, you know, and so you felt that the whole time. And then for the O-line just to be the leaders, really, of the offense, how we see it. I mean, they were out front with that. I know Connor Galvin was that way. Zay was that way. And so, you know, they will continue to grow as leaders in that space.
On the onside kick, I'm sure you were sweating the first one. How much are you sweating the second?
It just made sense with the game, the way the game was going, that why don't we do it again, you know? But I just think it just goes back to just we have to be more disciplined. I did not see that particular foul, right? And so it was hard for me to make a statement on it. I just think we have to be better. I think there's when you have a win and you don't play clean, you're thankful for it. A lot to get better at.
Vast majority of y'all's passing game this year has come on boot action,
Mhm.
deep shots off the true play action.
Mhm.
Because of Iowa State's defense, the way they keep those corners up,
Mhm.
the pressure they give guys like Will McDonald,
Mhm.
a lot of that wasn't really an option for y'all today, or at least it seemed like it.
Mhm.
Was it a struggle for y'all to figure out how y'all wanted to throw the ball this game?
Yeah, I thought there was, it would always be protection first. And so I think move the pocket. I think the boot is a great example. I thought when Iowa State ran boot, we struggled with it on defense. And I thought when we ran boot, Iowa State really covered it well. I think it might be the best thing their defense did today was cover boot, and there was nowhere to go with the ball. And then there was somebody in Gary's face. And so trying different ways and different wrinkles, but then also trying to get that running game going where it's consistent enough to where you can get the bite, because there's some of those routes we have that are down the field are best versus certain coverages, and to get them in those coverages you have to run the ball. And so it was there was some stagnation late in the game when you wish there wasn't.
What was your message in the locker room after the penalties on the celebration after the interception on the 2-point conversion?
Yeah, so I was on the field with that one too, trying to get everyone to come off the sideline, and so I think I can appreciate a big moment like that. I imagine everyone, when that play that's in here, is feeling some type of positive emotion with that. But we just have to, being in the arena, we have to be able to handle ours to a higher level, a higher standard. And so, we'll look at that, and then we've got, standards and repercussions for all that stuff. I think our ability to be consistent with how we play and just play one opponent and not play two, like I say, that's going to be a marker for us and where we go.
How much does Abu make in that play? You talked about the pick, and that was a play he made. To see him step up.
Yeah, so we were in between. There's a fair amount of media timeouts, and so in the media timeouts, it's the second half and all of it, and Apu's in there like dancing, right? Whatever music they got playing in the stadium, and he's singing, and he's trying to get other people to sing with him. So that the energy with him is way strong. And I think, just like, we're made for this. We're made for this, right? And so I think when people are around that, they kind of take to him, and they join in, they catch his energy. And so I'm glad we got him. I think this was one of his better games, and this was one of his better weeks of practice. I think he feels the need for improvement. And so I appreciate that about Apu. It's just the realistic view.
People kind of joke about your even keel throughout the game, and in a game like this where it's up and down with a lot of penalties, it's second half it feels like 2 games in one. But then when you look at your sideline and you see people like Apu with that energy and picking each other up, have you been able to recognize that they're kind of taking on your business professional approach and not getting too high or not getting too low depending on how the game's going?
That's a good question. I think somewhat. I think for me, like when we're in an event and something bad happens, I don't want to create another event, And now all of a sudden, we've got a 2-front war or a 3-front war. Let's just have a 1-front war, And so I always look at it that way. And then I think if I do get all emotional, then normally I'm not very good with identifying and working on the problems that need to have a solution. And so I feel like our team knows that now. When they see me after a game, they're not going, "What's wrong?" So I appreciate that. But I think that fair amount of them came after a game, said they're happy for me, and I just told them that I'm happy for us, man, because we've, from January to this point, to work on your culture so much to where guys are all, even though it's messy looking and it feels kind of ragged, to have guys back you up and for everyone to be kind of united and grit out a win is way cool, especially versus that team and Coach Campbell, so much respect for him. It means a lot.
Dave, what did you see on their two-point try in terms of what you guys really want to do and how that whole play broke down from your perspective?
Yeah, so it was another really tight formation, and so we had edge pressure coming, and we had tight coverage behind it. And so for me, I was concerned about crossing routes and getting rubbed off of it. So it was a battle of how fast that can happen to how fast our edge pressure and our penetration can happen. And so we were able to come out on the right end of that particular battle.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.